Hello, everyone. Can everybody hear me all right? See me okay?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Go ahead and get started with today's open discussion. Don't see my files. Here we go. Close this. Okay, let me resume the stream. Okay, it's open with the prayer for spiritual workers, and then we will move into our question and answer period. Prayer for the spiritual workers. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their limitations, would smite me. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their weakness, would not heed me. Almighty God, I bless all those who, because of their ignorance, would defile you through me. And I ask, Almighty God, O wondrous power, that your strength may be given to me now, so that I might be fortified by this, so that I might go forward bravely into the world, and despite reception, send forth my love of thee throughout all races of man. Almighty God, give me the power and strength to rise above my karmic weakness, the deficiencies in the pattern of my evolution, so that I might evolve and become stronger, I, and even stronger, in thy everlasting light. O God, thy will be done. Okay, welcome everyone to our 60-second open discussion class. I hope you had a wonderful week and that you had an opportunity to review the chakra yantras diagrams. If you remember from last week, we took a look at the yantras for each of the seven, or was it maybe six? Yeah, because we didn't go to the crown. The six major psychic centers along Sushumna. Let me share screen. So we looked at the Muladhara, Svadhisthana, sex center, solar plexus center, the heart center, and throat center, and the Ajna, the Kai center. This week we will read through the accompanying text that goes into a bit more detail of each of the yantras. So if you have the PDF document, last week we did the odd pages. This week we'll do the evens, 2, 4, 6, and so on. The link to the Google Drive shared folder is in the in the description on YouTube. And I know it's there because I just added it a few moments ago. And for those of you joining us on Zoom, I will post the link in the chat so you can download that. So that we will cover those diagrams in the second half. So the first half of the first hour, we will open the floor for any questions that you may have. So do we have any questions so far? And let me open up the chat too so we can see that.
Duane, someone emailed a question in from last week. I sent you a diagram to answer the question. Did you get it?
That's the Muladhara Chakra Yantra?
No,
The Japa lessons one?
yeah.
Okay, so let me download that and so this is the Japa diagram is sent. I didn't see the question. They send it directly to you, or they?
Let me see that they sent it to one of the Mystic Knowledge emails. You see it now? I sent it to you.
Don't see it.
I sent it to the Mystic Knowledge email.
Oh, okay.
You remember, I think I spoke about the method of placing the mantra on 108 chakras.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to read this question and you'll answer it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Question is, from the last Q&A, Nehemiah mentioned mudra mantras that can be chanted 108 times for optimal effect. Could I please find out where I could access these mantras? I have the link to Dr. King's Initiation into Dynamic and Soul Mantra recording. Would that be sufficient, or do you have another recommendation? Also, how regular should I do a sitting for the best effects?
Yeah, we're told the initiation mantra tape from Dr. King is sufficient. And we're told to chant the mantra every day. And it depends on how long you do it. You have to determine that. They do recommend at least do it 20 minutes when starting. At least 20 minutes a day when first starting. So with this diagram, I give the significance of the hand and how powerful the hand is, and why we use the hand for the mudras and the counting. So it shows how the hand is connected to the major chakras along the spine and the nadis, and how when using a certain mudra, you can eventually place the mantra on all 108 chakras within the aura.
Okay. And the mantras that are given in the initiation tape, those would be sufficient?
Yes, those are sufficient.
Also, how regular should I do a sitting for the best effects?
Every day. I mean, it's up to a person. I mean, it depends on you. So, but if you're serious about it, you would incorporate it several times a day. When I was much younger, I did it morning and afternoons, and then on the weekends I would do it for 10, 12 hours a day. So, but to each his own, you know.
Mm. And in the mantra initiation recording, Dr. King gives several mantras. Should we go through each mantra in turn, or should we focus on a single mantra before moving on to the others?
What I did, he gave 11 mantras on that initiation. You can do all 11 mantras, but then if you favor one mantra, you can use that particular mantra. So, I mean, that's, you know, those are personal choices.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mantra number 1 on the mantra tape is a very powerful mantra. And it's a good mantra to start with. Mantra number 2 is another powerful mantra. Mantra is, it seems like you can use those 2 mantras for healing, for manipulating a balance type energy. And you know, so I mean, you will notice the different power from the different mantras. And then there's he's break them up in a dynamic type mantra, and then a soul mantra. And so you'll notice the difference of the energies of those mantras too as well.
So for those wondering, here I'm sharing the Dear Society store webpage, which this is the Initiation to Dynamic and Soul Mantra. You can download it, or you can also order a CD. And I will post the link to this in the chat as well. So that's the recording. So did you want to go over that handout a little bit, or that's fine?
I mean, you could post it. You might want to edit, you know, look at it, and make sure everything is right on it.
Okay.
But we'll post it.
So I'll read through this, and I'll post it. Maybe we can go over this next after we finish the chakras. And so I'll post it soon. So, you know, guys, look out for that. And you can read it, get your questions ready. So when, in a couple of weeks, when we go over this, we can do an in-depth study on japa yoga. This will also go well with the Ancient Language of the Soul book that we also mentioned last week, which is a text that Nehemiah wrote. It's available on Amazon. You can purchase that book as well, and you'll see that everything we've been studying fits in well with that text and the diagrams. Okay, so this handout is not in the folder yet, but it will be coming soon. Okay, so let's see, do we have any other questions? Beatrice, we'll get to that when we look at the yantras, the chakra yantras. But really quickly, last week, we said that the 7 trunks on the elephant on the Muladhara Chakra yantra represented the creative mind substance that make up the 7 bodily tissues, or the sapta dhatus. Okay. But we'll go more into that in the second half of the open discussion. Are there any other questions?
On the more updated um, Muladhara chart, I put down those 7 tissues.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. I updated the yantra diagram handout, but I forgot to upload it to the shared folder, the updated one. So I would do that right now. And everyone, you can download that. Give me 1 second. The difference in that folder is just that second page, which goes into detail of the Muladhara. I will upload that. I'm uploading it right now. Okay, so it should be in the folder now. So if you go back to the Google Drive folder and refresh your browser window or the app, then you should see a chakra yantras diagram. And you know it's the correct one because it'll say it was modified a couple minutes ago and uploaded 1 minute ago. Okay, do we have any other questions?
Yeah, let's go ahead and move to the diagram.
All right.
You gonna go back over this one?
The first Muladhara.
I'm saying you're gonna go back over this? That's not like.
Yeah, last time we only did the full diagram with the boxes. This one,
Oh, okay, yeah.
but we didn't go into the full text. So close that. Trying to see how I can do all of them at the same time. Just go back and forth because it's going to be difficult. Okay, so let's start with the Muladhara. On the right hand side, I guess we'll go from right to left. It's a little bigger. In the parity cap is the square Dharhar mandala surrounded by 8 spears. And within it, and in the lower part, is the Dharha Bisha, who has 4 arms and is seated on the elephant Airavata. Forgive my pronunciation of some of these Sanskrit words. He is of yellow color and holds the thunderbolt in his hands. Inside the bindu of the Dara Bija is the child Brahma, who is red in color and has 4 hands with which he holds the staff, the gold, the Ruraksa rosary, and makes the gesture which dispels fear. So if you notice in the diagram here, at the end of here, there's a bit more detail than the ones we looked at last week, and a couple more additions to it as well, which will help us to better understand or begin to understand what's going on or is being depicted as corresponds to this particular psychic center. So next here, on the 4 corners of this yantra diagram are an indication of the petals or bijas of the chakra, which are seed mantras, the original positive samskaras of the soul. The bindu, which is pointing to in the center there, a spiritual germ of the Dara Bija's Lam seed mantras. Here is the Bija's Lam, and with it, Prithivi, earth or gross matter, on the back of an elephant. Lam in English terms means to escape as from prison. makes sense. You can see. And it's Kundalini being locked up there, which is what keeps us in gross manifestation, in a sense. Interesting. So, the inverted triangle is the symbol of Shakti, or creative energies. That's the red inverted triangle here. Now, the 7-trunked elephant represents the creative mind substance that makes up the 7 bodily tissues, dhatus, which are, just come down here, 1, bone, Hashti dhatu, corresponds to the Muladhara Chakra, and the Devi is Shakini. 2, fat, correspond to the Svadhisthana Chakra, and the Devi there is Kakini. 3, flesh, Mamsadhatu, correspond to the Manipura Chakra, and the Devi is Lakini, or the Devi Lakini. 4, blood, corresponding to Anahata Chakra, and the with Devi Rakini. 5, skin, Svak Vishuddha Chakra, and Devi Dakini. 6, morrow, corresponding to Ajna Chakra, and the Devi Hakini. And 7, semen, or ojas, corresponding to the Sahasrara Chakra. And this is the note here at the bottom. In the Sahasrara Padma are all dhatus beginning with Shukra, or semen. Okay. So back up here to the diagram. The elephant represents that there is a great dormant power resting in a complete, stable state. Okay. Let's go back up to the top right. The discerning flow of energies known as Sushumna, 2 Ida and 3 Pingala, traveling in one direction to form the power Kundalini by modifying the Shakti flow and creating a vehicle of consciousness to travel through the Nadi pathways to form levels of consciousness from basic to the higher and higher conscious realm. Okay, the second one here pointing to the diagram here in the top, as he has 4 faces. In the paracap, there is a red lotus on which is the presiding divinity of the chakra. I'm not even going to try that. The Shakti Dakini. The golden yellow square represents the gross earth element. And then the 3.5 knot represents the dormant state of Kundalini. This energy formation creates a dormant state of power that represents Shiva revealing itself because creative nata sounds are produced, which create a matrix of flowing types of energies called the nadis. There are 3 major types of nadis. 1, the mental flow of energies, which is Ida, I believe. 2, the vital flow of energies, which is Pingala. And 3, the neutral flow of energies, which is Sushumna. Is it really a neutral flow, or is it a combination of the two vital and mental flows?
It's called a neutral
It's called neutral.
because it's blended as one. On the not whole, remember they oppose each other.
Right, right.
Or they struggle to separate each other.
Okay, let's see if we have any questions so far. Okay, so no questions. Right, so let's move over to the left side. So the negative personality traits to overcome that are expressed in the Muladhara. There's one: desire, anger, greed, and delusion. So let's look at the components of the Muladhara Chakra, or the base of the spine, or the psychic center, base of the spine. One, the number, it is the first chakra composed of 4 petals. And those petals are Sanskrit letters, or nadi configurations, are Va, Sa, Sa, and Sa. Now, those may look like the same, but they're not. I think actually in the last one we went and named them, right? No, sorry. And the chakra mantra is the Lam. And the corresponding realm of consciousness, or loka, is the gross material realm, or the Bu Loka. The chakra element on the ethereal, astral, and physical realms is the earth, or growth solid material. The chakra Mahabhuta, cosmic element, is Prithivi, Bhuta, or solids. The name of the Tattva energy group is Bu, or Tattva mode of motion. The number of the Tattvic rays is 56 Tattvic rays. It has 2 esoteric colors, yellow and red. And its mandala is generally a square. The presiding prana in operation is apana, or a downward breath. The mantra sound vibration corresponds to para, which is the first aspect of sound. And that's talking about the, referring to the 4 aspects of sound. I believe you guys have that diagram as well. The presiding chakra deity is Ganesha, Brahma's 4-faced, the 4-faced Brahman. The Grantinat in operation is the Rudra Grantinat. The guna, or state of manas in operation, is Tamas. The Devic goddess, Dakini. Esoteric planet, the planet Mars, the Mahabindu. Why Mars and not the Earth?
That's what the ancient teachings tell us. It's Mars. It makes sense. You look at the last part of the Muladhara, you got Ahara, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means trigger. And Mars means control, remote control. They are the civilization that has the most advanced on the physical, astro and etheric planes of science and that type of technology. I think they're the closest. I mean, they're a step up from this Earth too.
Mm-hmm. So when the Senate Kumar was designing the bodies for us to operate in, I don't even know how to ask that. Did every planet play a role in the designing and construction of these
I would
bodies?
think, I would think so. He had 48 cosmic masters join him,
Uh-huh.
and I'm sure he probably chose them.
Okay.
Yeah,
20.
it would
Sorry,
have,
go ahead.
if you think about astrology, it would have to, because if you really believe the premise of astrology, that we're nothing but solidified light, the sun is not the only source of light. So the soul pulls on all available energy, and that includes the modifications or the rays of light coming from the planets. Ultimately, the planets themselves receive it from the sun, but is in turn modified and reconfigured and given back out to the solar system. But the premise of astrology means, at the time of your birth, you are pulling on all available cosmic energy, to further solidify the fact that you're really a cosmic being. You're more, you're not just a planetary being. Your makeup beyond, on a real deeper level is cosmic.
Yeah, and then in Madame Blavatsky's Secret Doctrine, she goes into the fact that every major realm on this earth was was sustained by a cosmic being from one of the planets in the solar system, and that cosmic being came and had to stay there. You heard of like the Watcher in the Night. They had to stay there like that. I mean, in order to balance the karmic configuration of those realms. So they brought with them the energy of the Mars or Venus or Uranus or whatever, or Saturn. So that's the only thing that keeps it stable. It's just like the Hall of Self-Judgment. Saturn created a link for this Earth in order to have a stable Hall of Self-Judgment.
Mm-hmm.
So every chakra is balanced by one of the planets in the solar system. Remember, the chakras is a stream of consciousness.
Right.
So and that stream of consciousness is a thing that allows every living thing in the solar system or the galaxy, the universe, that allows their org body to function. That's how we are connected. That's why there's no such thing as space, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're connected to that stream of consciousness, we are everywhere and nowhere, and yet we are where we are because we're connected. And our duplication of that is the internet.
Nehemiah, let me ask you something. The 8 spheres. Now, so Kundalini is supposedly trapped at this stage, right? And so it being separated from its source at the very top, it begins the process of reunification and thus creates the Gnotic system or framework, which is the energies emanating from the base of the spine, radiating out, trying its best to connect with its source at the top. So do those 8 spheres represent channels?
Well, it represents the quality, the different qualities of the elements. So different configurations of energy. Now, if you look at it, if you look at the dasa, right, the 7 tissues.
Yeah.
What do you notice about that? Which is really 8, because in the later teachings they put another one there, but it's really semen anyway, or ojas. But you'll notice that this ojas or semen is coming from where?
The crown.
The crown, right? And then the marrow, which creates blood, is coming from
Christ.
From the Christ chakra, right?
Yes, inverted.
Yeah. So and then you know that the marrow produce blood cells, which is at the heart, right? So it skips over the throat chakra, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got the Christ chakra, Arjuna, actually the command center controlling what? The trigger mechanism is where? Because where does marrow come from?
Bone.
So the trigger mechanism is where?
It's in the base of the spine. Those two are linked.
It's in the Muladhara Chakra. So the command center commissioned the Muladhara Chakra to produce bone marrow. Now the substance for that bone marrow is in 2 places. It's in the crown chakra and the Christ chakra, right? And then the bone marrow is produced and it shoots up to where? When it produces substance, it goes to the heart chakra, right? You see that? The blood.
Yeah, I see it.
Now, what are we told about the energy? Apana. What does apana do?
It circulates throughout the.
No, apana does what?
No.
Apana shoots up to the heart chakra and back down to the Muladhara chakra. That's his thing. So even this is following the science. See, and then the blood does what? The prana shoots down. It shoots up and then shoots back down to the Muladhara chakra and back up to the heart chakra. Now, when the flesh is produced in the Manipura, in the solar plexus center, because why? It's a manufacturer.
Correct. For food.
Yeah, and flesh and flesh is internal and external. See, and the thing that feeds the fat in the body is the yantra or the sex center, which is the Vyana prana, right? So it goes, that prana travels all around the body. See, and so even this follows the pattern of the energy and the Mahabhutas. when you look at it and say, why is not in sync? It is in sync because it's an operation.
Yeah, but the way it should, but the way it really works is marrow, blood, and bone, and then you got fat, flesh, and skin. Correct?
What?
I said the way it really is tied together is not necessarily 1 through 7. It's really bone, blood, and marrow, and then you have the other grouping should be fat, flesh, and skin. Correct?
Yeah, but the thing about it, the energy, the energy behind it is the operations, because everything you have to have involution before you have evolution. In other words. So the involution is the semen leaving the head center, and the substance to make up the bone marrow leaving the head center and going down into
The heart.
Anahata Chakra in order to create the Kundalini, and then the Kundalini locks up this energy in this bone type substance, and then only releases it as liquid, and then the sex center releases it throughout the body, and the solar plexus center began to modify it modify the blood into tissue, the tissue into organs, and then eventually into systems, and working in conjunction with the heart center and the throat center.
Okay, so that means you have bodiless consciousness at 6 and 7, which is marrow and semen, and in the process of involution, it jumps really straight down to bone and begins the process of embodied consciousness. Correct?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Remember, that's how the Tantra yoga explains everything. You say you have a bodiless consciousness, and then all of a sudden you have a body consciousness, and this is how it's done because of the energy configuration.
Right, and so what connects blood, bone, and blood is the apana, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And it explains why there's no deity for number 7.
No, there's no deity because it is the deity.
Okay.
Remember, once you reach the Christ center, you are considered an avatar. Once you reach the crown center, you are a devata.
So in a sense, you are the presiding deity at that point.
Yeah, you know the law of karma, and you dictate, and you only move strictly according to the law of karma.
So that chakra mantra, lam, meaning to escape, meaning it's escaping material form, material existence, or gross existence.
Yeah, because what does japa mean?
To repeat.
Recitation.
To do what?
A recitation or to repeat?
No, the real meaning of japa means to break the wheel of rebirth. Go look it up. Japa. It means to actually break the wheel of rebirth. So samsara is the wheel of rebirth. And you use the power of japa to unlock, to meditate on each petal, activating that chakra to the point to release the all-knowledge space in order to break the wheel of rebirth.
So does this chakra have does it have 2 divas? Because there's 2 entities here on the top of the diagram.
Yeah.
Oh.
We actually have three, because you have the diva that is the Bindu. You have a diva within the Bindu, or that protects the Bindu.
Is that the entity that sits on the elephant?
I don't know. I don't think they. We know that at every point of consciousness or Bindu, there's a great diva there that stops, that regulate who gets through and what comes through.
Okay.
And essentially, those you take on as you evolve and become one with yourself. You take on the personality of the diva, and the diva subside, and you take on that operation.
So let me finish up these last three. Number 20, Kundalini, the soul's vehicle of consciousness, is in the Muladhara Chakra, is the Kula. The major states of consciousness in operation are the conscious and subconscious minds, and the sense organs and associated senses is the nostrils and scent or smell. Let me see if we have any questions. Which Beatrice, did he? I think he answered your question. By the way, if he didn't, Beatrice, let me know. Are there any other questions relating to the information here or anything here? There's a question here. Does it mean that once you clear, or I think you mean unlock, that chakra, you start to take on the aspects of that God or presiding deity?
It means that you control that energy, and you lessen the burden of those divas. If you take control of that energy in the correct manner. So at this stage, you have 56 Tava rays. So those Tava rays represents actually 56 realms of existence. So the adept who controls this chakra control those 56 realms without bringing back negative karma to themselves. They live a balanced karmic existence. That's what control means. So they go to the next chakra, which is the sex chakra, and they have to control the Tava rays there. Now, controlling the Tava rays meaning that they have controlled the energy, the vortex energy of each chakra. The petals, they have brought those petals under control, because it is the mantra, it is the seed mantras, and the major mantra of that chakra that controls those energies. So when the adept have controlled that sonic sound vibration within those chakras through various practices, they control those realms of existence. So, and when they control the Muladhara and the sex chakra, they control that granting knot, which allows them to move to a higher level of existence, or to vibrate to a higher level of existence, which is the solar plexus. And once they control the solar plexus, they are an official adept, or at least young adept. So now it is not until they reach, to my understanding, it's not until they reach that level of that throat and the throat level and the third eye of Christ level that they actually become that diva, or those divas work through them. You know, they become one with the diva, or take on the personality of the divas, because there's 360 divas allowing this body to function on multiple realms of existence. Remember, for every Tava ray, that represents a diva in operation. I hope I answered your question. It's kind of difficult for people to understand.
So when you say in order to unlock a chakra psychic center, we have to drain all the energy from that spot below. In order to unlock the Muladhara, are we draining the energy from all of the 7 bodily tissues?
Yeah, from below you. You got to raise the vibration of that energy from the feet all the way up to the Muladhara Chakra, and then up to the sex chakra. And that's what allows, first you bring it up to the Muladhara Chakra, and that's what allow you to unlock it and begin to control it. And then you take the energy from there to the sex chakra, and everything below the sex chakra, all the energy is drained from there and brought to the sex chakra, and that's what allows you to control that chakra. And then when you have the energy of the sex chakra and the Muladhara chakra, then you can go to open the solar plexus chakra, and that's how it's done.
So then, are we taking the tattvic rays from the Muladhara and bringing that up to the sex center as well?
The tattvic rays are the same thing as everything. I mean, a tava means a mode of motion of various energies. It's a combination of all the energies that make up that realm of existence. So every energy that you can think is part of the tava ray. So when you look outside, the tava ray is all the energy that's there. It's a mode of operation. So it's a mode of motion. So in order to create this realm of existence, a realm of consciousness that you are experiencing now, is the tava energy in operation. That's what the tava means. So what makes that work? What makes that work is a stream of consciousness called the chakras. Well, chakras control the 306 tava rays of the solar system that's coming from the sun. but it's split up into different chakras, you know, and it's the same thing the scientists saying. The scientists realize that there's something called the magnetic electronic spectrum. In the Bible and the other ancient books, they call it a rainbow. Now, when scientists began to study the rainbow, they realized that they can send sound across the world and across the solar system. They can also send pictures, and all that happened with the electronic magnetic spectrum. But the yogis talked about this uh, thousands, millions of years ago, and they call it the Tava rays. They said there's 306 Tava rays coming from the sun that equals the 360 degrees of the earth, which actually equals the 365 days of the year. So,
Mhm.
so all of this is all these rays they make up the multiple levels of existence on Earth, and our consciousness links into those rays. That's how we experience life. And some of us can see part of the ray more than others.
Mhm.
So controlling the chakras is gaining control over those rays and manipulating those rays so that you can vibrate your consciousness to the highest level.
ER, the link to the shared folder is in the description. Find the handout there. Are there any more questions on this first? Move on to the next one. I don't think we'll be able to cover all of them today. No, we won't be able to cover all of them today, so see if we can at least make it to the solar plexus. Just keep going. No questions. On to the sex chakra, Swadhisthana chakra. The sex chakra, Svadhisthana chakra, is where the seat of man's consciousness resides. The Sanskrit word sva means one's own, and the Sanskrit word adhisthana means residence or dwelling place. This chakra is the life-giving force of the subtler bodies and gross physical body. It regulates the Vyana pranas throughout the human system, subtler and gross expression. It is the place where life is initiated on the gross physical plane. It is also the place where the physical brain, an instrument of translating mind substance, is heavily influenced by the sex chakra, Swadhisthana chakra. The sex chakra engages or triggers the physical brain to use the frequency of its pranic forces to maintain and sustain the gross physical consciousness. Nehemiah, for the Adamic man, where their base was the heart center, does that mean that their heart center took on, I guess, the title or quality of their Svadhisthana?
Of their what center?
Of their Svadhisthana?
Yeah. The three centers below was part of the heart chakra.
Ah. So these functions, the Muladhara and the Svadhisthana, if we're just looking at the Sanskrit words there and how they translate, those functions were originally served by the heart center, but in that
Right.
evolutionary process, they were separated out into three separate.
We had the three separate chakras, three separate operations, three separate major operations. But remember, the gross plane of existence was not like this.
Right.
The gross plane of existence was, in other words, let's say their physical body, their gross body was gross on the outside, but yet, how can I say it? The way to understand
their dhatus would have been very different
no, I'm
because it
saying
would have been.
the inside was etheric, the outside was what was a gross etheric, in other
Right.
words.
Mhm.
So it allowed them to teleportate much easier than us because their gross outside, their gross skin had to be more of a conductor of energy than what our gross skin is. The gross part of ourselves are. So it allowed them to achieve, to control mental and vital energy quicker and faster than what we control vital and mental energy. Because we wrestle to manipulate mental and vital energy.
Right. So an ascended body then is built using the energy for the bodily tissues of, like, say, the crown or the Christ center, in a sense.
Yeah, because they have risen the gross matter to a level that they can manipulate it at ease. So now the bubble, the auric body or the auric substance that our physical body exists in order to, because if you don't have an aura, if this physical body lacks an aura, then this physical body will not. It will soon decompose. So an ascended body has no aura because it is the aura. That auric substance, that highly etheric auric substance, is now part of the gross and liquid and fire, heat, and air of that body. So now it can vibrate to any level of existence because of its etheric auric substance. And that's the difference between a risen body or not even a risen body, but an ascended body and this body. So it doesn't need an aura in order to sustain it.
Mm-hmm. There's a question here. I'm not sure what they mean. So the only way to control the energies is by receiving the experience.
Well, and you have all of the different yoga practices and different the 12 yogas in order to gain the experience, in order to accelerate the experience. So that's why you have the yoga practices. And it's through experience of those yoga practices and discipline that you gain the necessary experience through the practice of these yoga traditions in order to enhance your connection with the various uh, energies of the body, or the pranic bodies, as the yogis call them. Yoga is not twisting the body up into all these different ways. It's more than that. You have 12 major yogas that's been given to the world. You have far more than 12, but you have 12 major yogas that's been given to the world that shows us a roadmap to true meditation and ascension. And I give those 12 yogas in the teachings that I offer through this organization.
Are there any other questions? Oh, okay. On to the second paragraph. The Bindu power that's expressed at this level gives the supreme static power of storing all conscious memories, all unconscious memories, conscious movements, and involuntary movements within the subtle and physical bodies. The sex chakra is the level of consciousness or Shakti power that the soul uses to formulate the subconscious mind. The energies produced from the thoughts and actions of our past daily lives are looked on or called memories. The Tantric teachings call these memories samskaras, which are tiny bits of energy patterns that build a unique and personal collage of energy patterns that produce its own pressures of karma on the auric body. The combination of these samskaras or collages of energy patterns dictates the karmic pressures and karmic patterns that each individual must experience according to their own actions. The samskaras are like seeds that have been planted within the auric bodies, waiting to blossom under the right conditions. The right conditions are when the karmic pressures that holds the energy patterns together within the auric bodies begins to loosen, and these samskaras or energy patterns manifest themselves through the current expressed personality and levels of consciousness that the soul is working through at that time.
All right, Nima, I got a question about the samskaras and this particular chakra.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so every chakra has its own set of samskaras, both positive, or cosmic, which is left there by Kundalini as it makes its way towards the base of the spine. Now, the negative samskaras are the ones that are caused by our own actions. So, are you saying that the majority of samskaras that are caused or produced by our quote unquote conscious mind, our actions, are stored here?
No, I'm not saying that. They're not just stored here, but this is the major operations of the subconscious mind. And remember, this energy travels throughout the whole body. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So even if it's the subconscious mind is all over the body, so it's constantly moving that energy configuration all over the mind. I mean, all over the auric body and the physical body, the astral body. Even though its central location is there in the sex center. And that's one of our major problems. In other words, it weakens the matrix of the nodding system, which configures the auric body or the atmosphere in which your physical body and astral body and etheric body exist within.
I thought that started at the solar plexus center.
No. Mm-mm. Remember, the solar plexus center receives its energy directly from the sun. That's why it transforms the energy into all these different levels of existence.
So that means there's very little interference from us on that center when compared to at least the sex center.
Well, when you look at the subconscious mind, you have the subconscious mind, you have the energy modified by the conscious mind of the subconscious mind, and then you have the energy modified by direct karmic response. Although the energy coming from the conscious mind will be strictly adhered to by the law of karma, but it's more of a negative energy. The energy, the directives coming from the soul. I mean, the higher conscious, the superconscious and superconscious, which is the soul. The soul's conscious, which the soul is above conscious, but the soul has a higher consciousness that it communicates to the superconscious. Those are directives that the subconscious mind use in accordance to handling the energy directly from the sun, the earth, and the moon.
Right.
And the other planets. But then you have this minus energy. Remember I told you what minus is, right?
That's the distorted energy from us.
That's the distorted energy. You have this minus energy that's also introduced along with this great positive directive energy. And that's what prolongs our reincarnations, our will of rebirth, and increases our time in this locked state of consciousness, or these locked bodies and this fragile state of existence.
Right. So that madness, that distortion, that interference, the discoloration that comes from our quote unquote conscious mind, the seat of majority of that is at the center.
Yeah, that's at the center of why we are here and going through what we are going through.
Yeah, so then it would make sense from a Freudian psychological perspective, and then it makes sense now.
So I mean that's why you'll see later on we talk about the 20 or 21 impurity traits that have built up over time from being reincarnated over and over and over again, and working through a basic conscious level of existence, we create all of these domino effects. It is not until we begin to use the 8 limbs of yoga, science introduced to us by the Lord Swami Patanjali, that we begin to use yama to control our thoughts and actions. Niyama to observe God in all our thoughts and actions, and then also use asanas, which we restrict the body and don't move like restless animals. Through the practice of yoga, we learn to sit in seats of power in order to allow us to connect with the mental world. And then, of course, recognize that the greatest energy that we can receive is the energy through breath control, through the science of breath, through pranayama. So when we can get those 4 yamas down, then we can move to the other 4 yamas and begin to actually vibrate our consciousness to a different level of existence. You want to move on and see what else? Did you finish that page?
No,
I
not
answered your
yet.
question, right, Bernard?
Yeah, you answered it.
There's a question here. In Ayurveda, there are doshas, which are energies that enable all operations in the body. Are these in fact divas? Divas or devas?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, I don't want to confuse people. You have to understand that that if you have liquid in your body, there's a diva there. If you have hard substance in your body, there's a diva there. If you have air in your body, there's a diva there. So you're never without a diva. The diva controls for every element. There's a stream of divas there controlling that element, making sure the law of karma is strictly adhered to. So yes, but I can't say that the diva caused something. If something happened to you, you caused it, or the group consciousness that you belong to caused that thing to happen. So the reason why we're in the condition that we're in is mainly because of the collective consciousness of the world. We did something with a group of people that we share a common faith with. So we have to break out of that by developing ourselves and raising our consciousness above this.
Yeah, I got one more question before we move on. For each of your for each of the chakra, you have the presiding deity, and then you have the diva goddess. Are they the opposites of each other, the positive and negative aspects of each other?
No, I don't really think so, because it's more complicated than that in a sense. Okay. I would say, yeah, because if you see one deity, there's actually 2 deities, in other words. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, there's actually 3 if you can count the Bindu.
No, he's talking about something.
No, not talking about that. Well, What are we told about a cosmic being?
So they function in multiple aspects.
Yeah, so a cosmic being is more of a twin soul than just a soul.
Correct.
In other words, I mean, those definitions are given to us because of our lack of understanding. But you must understand that if Jesus came here, then maybe another aspect of Jesus came here too.
Right.
And one aspect was known to us, the other aspect was not known to us. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So with a diva, you have a positive and a negative, but you don't want to say positive and negative because it's negative in energy, but not negative in substance.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a split aspect.
Yeah, it's just a split aspect. Yeah.
How do these yantras correspond to or describe the different faces of the chakras?
It does. I mean, but you have to get into it. You know, I mean, it's right there before you. I don't really want to go there because it gets more complex.
What do you mean by face?
So, like, Mars Sector 6 told us that the heart has 3 faces. Was it the throat? Or is it the heart? The heart has 3 faces.
The heart chakra has 3 faces.
Yeah.
Oh, then
I'm remembering that.
Then I see why Nehemiah said you can't really get into it now.
Yeah. Okay, so this box here at the bottom, circling the not solar plexus, the sex center, the residing place of basic consciousness, one of the central locations of the subconscious mind, receives and radiates the Vyana pranas, throughout the entire mental and subtle bodies, and is the 62 states of tattvic consciousness that composed most of the astral and physical realms. As we go to the table on the left-hand side, the components of the Svadhisthana chakra, the sex center. It is the second chakra composed of 6 petals. Those are the 6 syllables. Its presiding mantra is Ram. Its realm is astral, the Bhuva Loka. Its element is water. The cosmic element in Mahabhutas is Apas, liquid. The name of the Tattva is Agni. There's 62 Tattvic rays, and its esoteric colors are orange. The mandala is a crescent moon. The presiding prana is Apana, the down breath. The sound vibration is Pashyanti. Presiding deity, Brahma, Narayana, four-handed. The Grantinath, Brahma. The Guna.
The Grantinath is Rutra there really. Okay.
Oh, Rudra.
You need to correct that. Yeah. Rudra.
Let me do that. No, it's a picture. Okay, I have to do it later. I make a note to myself. Rudra. Rudra, Rudra.
Yeah.
The Guna Tamas, the Devic goddess Rakini. Esoteric planet is the moon, and Kundalini Vani. Questions? The questions? Oh, sorry. Negative personality traits to overcome here: pride, attachment, hatred, passion, malice, jealousy, lust, and possession. Do you have any questions?
Hey, I want to point something out on the last chart talking about the Muladhara. On that chart, it was written down a long time ago, many years ago, hundreds of years ago. It talks about the presiding deity there, or diva that was there, and it said it was there to dispel fear. You see that at the top?
Yeah, it's the first one on the left. It's a deity on the left.
Yeah. So
yes.
So it you know, 30, 40 years ago when I heard that, it corresponds with Dr. George King's 9
First freedom, right?
Yeah, the first freedom is bravery to dispel fear, and it correlates with with the ancient teachings of. It's kind of unique too because the first freedom is bravery. The second freedom is
love.
It's love. And so, and then the third freedom is service. And when you look at the chakras, the first freedom corresponds with the first chakra, which is bravery, because you have to dispel fear. And then the second chakra is, you have to learn true love. And then the third freedom, which corresponds with the sun energy, which is service, And the fourth freedom corresponds with the heart chakra, which is enlightenment, because once you raise Kundalini into the heart chakra, you are an adept, and you are enlightened, So it corresponds with the ancient teachings, but it gives it in a very simple way so that people can understand. So, I mean, if people if you're going to study this, go back to the 9 freedoms, because it gives you a lot of information in a very simple way, but very compacted knowledge that can help you actually analyze these things.
So if you're lacking bravery in any way, the DT won't even allow you entry?
Mm-hmm.
So could you say that if you're lacking in bravery, the the presiding deity won't even allow you entry into that?
You have to conquer fear in order to conquer these 52 or 56
56.
Tava rays.
Any final questions before we close out today's session? All right, if there's no additional questions, we'll end today's open discussion. Pick up again next time. Should be February 7th. And you can subscribe to our MeetUp page to get regular announcements about our classes, as well as if we're not holding an open discussion or a class, you should get an announcement there as well. Yeah, I'll send that, Bernard, I'll send that to you. No additional questions. Let's go ahead and close out with the New Lord's Prayer. If you do have additional questions or private questions, you can send those to us via email. We can get back to you those questions as well. The New Lord's Prayer. Divine and wondrous Spirit, O everlasting Lord of hosts, send forth now through me thy great and lasting power. Allow me, Almighty God, the lasting privilege of radiating to all the world thy great love, so that those who suffer may be given the power and energy to rise above their weaknesses. Almighty God, in great humility do I ask you to send forth your power to give to me this great lasting privilege of being a channel, so that my suffering brothers may be helped and guided and healed and lifted into thy light, so that they who know not may look up and in doing so receive to their higher selves your divine counsel. Almighty God, this day have you granted me a divine privilege, I ask you now to give to me the strength so that never again will I turn from my inner vision of you. Oh, great peace, great peace, great peace. In praise of your greatness, O God, doth my soul sing. Grant it energy to sing on forever and forever. Thank you very much, everyone. Look forward to seeing you next time.